That's a snapper. It's a snapper. That's a good snapper. Yay!
Yes, nice network.
Oh yeah. G'day, Starlo here. At the southernmost end of Tasmania, there's a ruggedly beautiful stretch of coastline, punctuated by pristine bays, harbours and estuaries. Not to mention some dark, tannin-stained trout waters. But that's another story for another day. Stretching from the mouth of the mighty Huon River down to southeast Cape, this sparsely populated region takes in the picturesque seaside villages of Dover and Southport, Australia's southernmost permanent settlement. The coastline itself is truly spectacular. The mighty Southern Ocean crashes against towering headlands, heaving the giant bull kelp forests back and forth in a timeless dance. On a gentle day like this, it's a surprising paradise, but make no mistake, this is an often violent stretch of ocean that's claimed more than its share of vessels and lives over the centuries. Joe and I were lucky enough to see this little known corner of the world in a reasonably benign mood, and we were even able to explore some of its secluded coves and inlets in our 5-metre boat, casting a lure and a squid jig as we went. But we'd really come here to explore the more sheltered estuary waters, and we were fortunate enough to have switched-on local angler David Fole as our guide for a day on the Loon River. I was really keen to tick the capture of one of Australia's southernmost bream off my bucket list, and with David pointing us in the right direction, that didn't take too long to do. My first loon bream. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Yeah.
Lovely little specimen.
Chunky. Nice clean ones. They'd be good to eat.
They are fantastic to eat from here.
Look at the condition on him. Like for a fish of that length, he's really solid. There you go, my southernmost southern black bream. Sweet as. With a deep south bream ticked off the list, our next plan was to anchor up in 5 to 7 metres of water along the rocky shores of the lower estuary and bait fish. David had been telling us about the run of small snapper that had been getting better every year in this part of the world, and Joe and I were intrigued at the prospect of catching a pinky so far south, without doubt very close to the limits of their geographic range. We had fresh squid and cut fish flesh to use as burley and baits on our lightly weighted rigs, and almost immediately we started catching fish, including the abundant jack mackerel or cowan young that are so common in Tassie waters. These little fish put up a good fight for their size, make great bait, and are also tasty when smoked or prepared as sashimi. There were also the obligatory hordes of mostly small sand flathead.
Look at him, he's so dark.
Yeah. And a range of other customers, including the slippery red cod. As the sparse burley trail began to weave its magic, a few small Australian salmon also turned up. Oh yeah, they're great fish. As always, giving a good account of themselves on our light bream gear. Nice. But a glance at the sounder indicated that there were some more highly prized targets, and neither David nor I were surprised that it was Joe who hooked up next.
That's a lovely fish. That's a lovely fish.
It's not a snapper, but a very nice black bream.
I saw my shot and I took it.
Yes, well done. Nice fish. On her next bait, Joe was on again, and this was clearly a good fish. I like the way it's trucking up against the tide. That's a snapper.
That's a good one.
That's a good snapper. This fish was very lively on the light gear.
He's having a go, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think you might have up-traded.
There he is.
He's a lovely snapper.
That's a good snapper.
Probably the best one I've seen come from here.
Yay! Nice work.
Yeah, dinner is served.
Yeah, it's a lovely fish.
That's a beautiful fish. Hold him up for a minute. Yeah.
It's a lovely fish.
Definitely worth a couple of quick happy snaps on the phone. Fantastic. Tail around a tiny bit. Yep, no, back. Yeah, that's so good. Lovely.
Right, I've got to measure him.
That's all right.
Yeah, he'll be 42 to the tips. Jo was still telling us about her previous hookup when the next one came.
To it, and at one stage I struck, and then it was
Like that.
Just like that. Just like that.
Did that.
She's done it again.
They go so hard. They're such good fish. You always know when you're in a bream comp or whatever, and you pin a snapper instead of a bream, they go about 50% harder than a yellowfin bream, and probably 80% harder than a black bream. Sure is. Another nice one too.
yes, nice network.
About the same.
Tiny bit smaller.
I reckon.
38. I might have to take this jig head off.
Are you fishing weighted?
Well, just very lightly. Yeah, he's a fair bit smaller. A bit paler too.
Yeah.
My turn next.
Yeah. I'll get this out of the equation in case we
That's on a little running pea-sized running sinker rig. There's such good fighters in this shallow water on bream gear. I love them. Yep, it's a pinky.
Oh, he's a nice fish.
He is a nice fish.
He's actually quite a nice fish.
Oh,
Very good one.
lovely.
Quite ready. I didn't like the look of that boat.
Thanks, mate.
You're welcome, sir.
Cheers. Oh, yeah.
That's a lovely fish.
Might be the fish of the day.
Fish of the day.
That's a chunky snapper. Wow, such handsome fish too.
I'm going to Paternoster style.
He's 40 on the knocker as well. It's the same size as your best one, Joe. Oh, wow. You might have a good run this year. They were coming pretty regularly now. I didn't have to wait long. Even the light rain couldn't dull our enthusiasm.
Something with a bit of pizzazz.
It's a snapper, I reckon.
Snapper is determined to go that way. Have you seen this fish yet?
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is a good snapper.
I might have got you this time, I think.
You have, babe.
Holy dooly.
Goodness, that's a great one.
That's got to be 43, 44, I reckon.
It's a lovely fish. Any day of the week.
Absolutely. There's so much fun in shallow water on light tackle. Just thanks, mate. Woo, 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 woo. Lovely. Look at the sounder. Oh, I think he might have some mates. Got it. Thanks, mate. At just over 43 centimetres, this was our best fish for the session. Certainly not a huge snapper in anyone's language, but very satisfying all the same. We had more than enough of these chunky little deep south reds for a couple of meals now, and I must say they were far and away the tastiest snapper I've ever eaten. It must be all that cold, clean water and a good diet. This often overlooked bottom corner of Tasmania has so much to offer. Sure, the weather can be challenging, but when it's good, it's very good. It'll certainly be on the must-visit list for us next time we take our boat south on the Spirit of Tasmania for another extended visit. And we're already counting the days and saving the dollars until that can happen again. We love the place. If you enjoyed this, give me a quick thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel if you don't already. And be sure to check out all the other videos in my expanding Tassie Tales playlist. It's a very special part of the world. If you haven't been, you need to go. Until next time, this is Starlo wishing you tight lines.